honestly, I'm not even sure why we came up with this topic. And this is your fault. This is your fault. You trying to guilt me into putting my phone down, and you know good and well I'm not going to do it.
Well, I got to use my powers, for bad and not just good
Yeah,
all.
but is it good or what? What is it? Is it good or bad? Welcome to Getting to After. My name is Chaton Morris, and I'm the Princess of Positivity. And this lovely woman is making me talk about something that's going to shame me.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Morgan Bustos. I own it. I claim it. We're talking about cell phones today and whether or not they have power over you or you have power over them. Which one? It's a lot. What do we think?
Morgan, it's a tough topic. Today we're talking about something that most likely is in your hand or at least within reach. For me, it's typically in my hand, and it's definitely within reach. And Morgan asked me a question before we got started today: if I feel anxiety when I don't know where my phone is, and I said I wouldn't know what that felt like because I always know where my phone is. I know you live with a bunch of Gen Zs just like I do. Which one do I act more like?
Oh, definitely a Gen Z. I'm more like you
I
because
know.
I could care less where my phone is. And you're like, woman, answer your phone. Pick up your phone.
Yes,
Keep it.
I
I
know.
need to get a hold of you. But you're always doing such amazing things with it. So I get it. Like you're always, creating content and
You can make it nice, nice. I don't mind saying that I'm not addicted, but I will say that. So listen, the reason we're talking about this today is because, when we were talking a lot about balance over last month, we were talking about, love doesn't hurt. We've talked a lot about what are we as midlife women, millennials, midlife women, and those of us who are, for myself, getting into that 50 range. How are we feeling balance? Are we feeling balance? Are we feeling out of balance? And a couple of months ago or several weeks ago, we were talking about the idea of what the news does for us. And a
mm,
lot of this has to do with like this kind of morbid need to see everything that's going on. And that's kind of what's happened. And I thought, when Morgan gave me this topic, I said, you know what, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I know for myself, listen, listen, that's why we got the pop socket. Listen, I want to be able to gesture with it. It's like if I was in an airplane, you know what I mean? Just for me, you know, follow the lights to the exit door. But Morgan, I know that you're going to, talk a lot of different things today. But one of the things that I thought was interesting is that this Erykah Badu song, and I know that you were like, "What?" Right? So Erykah Badu made this song back, I think, 2015, called "Phone Down," and it really had to do with what happens in our relationships when we don't put the phone down. Now, of course, it's Erykah Badu. She's going to be talking about men and women and all of that, but it does kind of filter into all of us this idea of is the social media, is the phone, is our connectivity making us more connected, or is it actually drawing us away?
mm,
And is it an addiction, or is it just like a comfort thing, or what is it? I often see jokes like on Facebook or social where women my age, your age, are in bed with their husbands, or they maybe, have their kids around them and the kids are doing something else and they're really ignoring that person. Everyone's tethered to the phone. So I thought it was interesting. I thought that was a perfect theme for our song, a perfect theme song for this episode, Phone Down. And I am not going to end this by saying I put my phone down. Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. But anyway, Morgan, what do you think?
I think that okay, so my daughter addressed me with that a couple weeks ago. And she was like, "Mom," she goes, when I'm here, she's like, "You're always on your phone." And I said, "Sequoia," I was like, "That's because I'm constantly working. Like I'm listening to some kind of educational thing or, I'm trying to create some kind of content or I'm mostly like my finishing all my certifications. So I'm like
Right.
constantly audio, right?" But then when she said that, I realized, "Oh my gosh, like let's listen to what she really said.
Yeah.
You don't see me. You're not focused on me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
That's over there, but, like, I need you right here." So since she brought that to my attention, I've been trying to make sure to just be more aware of the fact that, like, when my kids or people just in general are in my presence to just kinda, just put it down for a second. There's
Yeah.
nothing that can't wait because I think society too also has changed quite a bit in the sense of, like, when I was growing up, our phone, we had the house phone, right? And so if we weren't there,
You
you
had to stand in the kitchen with the wire.
and, like, try to unwind it, and then
I
you
know.
go, right? But we had to that's the only time people could really get a hold of
That's
us,
right.
and so it was okay. People survived. We lived
Yeah.
through it, but because of the way things are, we're so used to having, like, everything in
It's
our hands,
instant.
access constantly. So it's almost a sense of, like, fear and anxiety when you don't have it,
Yeah.
but is it really gonna is it gonna kill you to put it down for a couple of minutes? Is it going to but then also, like, what does it do for your nervous system
Yeah.
by sitting it down? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I know I mean, you know that I'm totally into natural things, and it's probably the one place all my, which I shouldn't say one place because I'm surrounded by lots of devices. We have
Mhm,
so many devices in our house, it's ridiculous. Each person probably has 4 to 5. They're wearing one here, they've got one on the here, in front of an iPad, a computer, a laptop, all of that, cameras, et cetera, et cetera. We're an Apple household.
mhm,
Don't come for me, Android users. We're an Apple household and we are big about connection and
mhm,
we connect through these devices. Um, but at the same time, I think that there's a couple of things that are going on. So we have the health concerns of electromagnetics, which I know you are very, very big on. You got stuff on your phone. I know you're going to talk about that. But the thing is that what is it doing mind wise? So before we start talking about the body, I do think that midlife women should be aware of when you feel tethered to anything, when you feel like you can't have something, like if I don't have it, something's missing, that it is doing something both emotionally to you as well. And of course, we're all about centering and grounding and emotional freedom. And it's like if this is something that's not allowing you to have freedom, is it really helpful or is it hurtful? And again, I am not going to sit here and advocate not having a smartphone because what kind of hypocrite would I be? Because I'm not getting rid of my phone. But at the same time, um, there's a lot of videos out there. There's a lot of information out there about the electromagnetic radiation and so forth from the phones. And I know people will come for us. I know you feel the same way, Morgan. And people are going to come for us, but that's okay.
big time. Well, like, here on the back of my phone, I need to actually get more of these because my phones, like, what do you call that? Like, crash or surge all the time
Yeah.
because there's, like, too much energy going through it, like
But let's talk about you. I mean, is it, and some people may not know what's going on. So why don't you talk about your experience as well with phones in general? I mean, you have interesting over connection
mm.
to devices. Why don't you talk about what happens?
So I think what ends up happening to me over the years, like, I couldn't figure out why my phones I go through phones like crazy. Like, they'll start, um it won't just, like, short out, like, the microphone starts going out, it starts
Glitching like crazy, glitching.
constantly, and I was asking, I was like, "Why is this happening?" Because my guy that I go to for my phone company, he's like, "Man, this is, like, the 2nd phone this year." He's like, "What is going on?" And the electrical currency within my own body has a reaction to my phone and also to, like, any other electronics. So,
Yeah,
like, I can put my hand by something and I can
you
feel
feel
it
it.
bleeding, right? Like, I'll be like, right,
Yeah,
like, so,
yeah,
like, even, like 6 inches above, I can feel it right here over my computer. But so what ends up happening is if my emotions get too high
yeah,
or if my stress level gets too high, the electrical frequency that my body gives off will short
yeah,
out my phone.
yeah. I've watched it. You
Yeah.
told me about it, and I was like, Morgan, dear, can you lay down?
You're like
I, but then I started watching it. It's happened so many times. It's
Mhm.
happened so many times that we did some research to find out what it is, and obviously we share a naturopath as well. And this is one of the reasons why literal grounding is important. You could ground your house, and if you're interested in finding out how to do that, you can absolutely contact me because our naturopath, that's part of their business, is
Yes.
helping you to ground your house. Also, getting those devices on your phone, those little stickers, those little things that help
Mhm.
and then also to protect you, and then also things like having the phone a little bit away from you. So it's interesting when we start talking about, doom scrolling and death scrolling, let's be real. Like, how many times have you caught a cramp? Right here, like a cramp. Y'all know y'all caught a cramp right up in here because you holding that phone. I have had it where my finger, and I was just like, oh wait,
Girl, I kid you not. Like, cause use my pinky to hold it up, and then my pinky will be like, "Oh," it's like so then I walk around and I'm like this all day because I can't even bend it because 'cause I've been using it too much. Oh my goodness.
but I think, so obviously it's something that we need. And I'll say need because at this point, I don't know who's really trying to live without one. Although it's interesting, I'm reading a novel right now, and the husband, he's in his late 60s, and I will not use a cell phone, much to the chagrin of his wife, because she's just like, I can never contact you. And it was interesting reading this part a couple of days ago where she was saying that, and again, this is fiction, but I can see this happening on the minor people that don't, carry a phone all the time, or those that keep it on D&D, or those who have it plugged in and use it when they need it, as opposed to everyone else needing it, which I think we should explore. What was interesting, the woman in this book, this fictional character, said what she hated about it was that he could always contact her, but
Mhm,
she did not know where he was. And it wasn't because he was doing anything untoward. It wasn't because he was having an affair. He wanted that level of freedom. But meanwhile, she didn't feel that she could have it, and he didn't want her to have it. He wanted to call her whenever he wanted. So I
mhm.
do think there's a thing about not just the phone usage, but how do we feel emotionally about using it? How do we feel emotionally if we are untethered for a little while? And I'll be very honest, if I'm up the street and I realize the phone's home, I'm turning around.
Well, we can't help it anymore either. Like we need it for everything. We need it for GPS. We need it for our grocery list. We need it for being able to contact each other. We need it for looking up, the ingredients on something. Is this going to kill me if I put this in my body? We're constantly on it for so many different things. And there is so many times where I have driven off and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I need to get my phone." Right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting because the other day I realized that I had my phone on D&D because I was doing a lot of coaching,
Mhm.
right? And so I had it turned off. Well, then it's like midnight. 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, why hasn't anybody called me? Where are my kids? Like, I know they're in the house.
D&D.
Teenagers are like texting me, from the other room instead of walking in here or something. And I'm like, what's going on? And it was still off. I kid you not, Chaton.
How'd that feel?
It was so
Yeah.
peaceful.
Yeah.
It was so calming, and I remember sitting in my bed, and there's, like, a mirror directly in front of me on the other end of the other end, on the wall, and I was looking at it, and I just kinda giggled, and I smiled, and I was like, "This is nice." Like, the calmness of not having
Yeah.
it go off every 5 seconds for
Yeah.
some kind of alert or some kind of reminder
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something telling me I need to be somewhere, just to have that peace of mind and to be able to disconnect for a
Yeah.
second. I was like, "I need to do this more often," because I do get mad. Like, I get mad at Sequoia all the time because she always has hers on D&D. And I'm like, "Girl, you are not that important where people are blowing up your phone." I was like, "I need you to have your phone
They do
on."
it on purpose. They just don't want you to disturb them.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
know Go ahead.
no, because I was like, "If mom needs to get a hold of you, if I need to
Yeah.
get a hold of you, like, it's important."
Yeah. So I think, it's interesting because the whole idea of D&D,
Mhm.
and for those of us who are tethered, like right now while we're recording, of course I'm on D&D.
Mhm.
Everyone knows I'm recording. Like they know when I'm going to record the pod, so they know better than to come in here or to bother me. But there have been times when you and I are recording, and because I was on D&D, someone did come in because they really did have a need.
Right.
And I think, so when we use it for balance ways like that, I think it's very helpful. It's very useful. It's 2025. There's no way around it. At the
Mhm.
same time, we've talked about some health things. We've talked about emotionally what happens with us. We're always talking about things like cortisol level and the different hormones that are happening. And I believe that being too tethered, and depending on what you're doing with it, can raise those hormone levels, that fight or flight, fawn, or all of those different freeze responses, all those responses that we're working on with emotional freedom technique can be created by too much. I want to
Mhm.
read to you this idea of this song again, just bring up Erykah Badu a little bit because I think it's so interesting. Um, one of the themes in this particular song, which if you've never heard it, it's a really, really good song, Erykah Badu, back in the mixtape from 2015. and talking about this idea of a critique of a digital obsession, because that's what it is. Like, how do you
Mhm.
get someone to willingly put their phone down? It can be in friendships, it's definitely in marriage, and we know it's with our kids to
Mhm.
get their attention. And so, what I say to my son, I've come up with different words. I would like to see your eyes. And
Um,
he knows. So, without me saying, put that out, it's like, I need to see your eyes right now.
mm,
And so when I approach my children, when I approach my kiddos, or when I need to talk to my husband, I don't have, that's the time I will not have my phone in my hand.
mm,
I'm going to go talk to my hubs. I'm going to put my phone down. And she was talking about this idea of when you get someone to willingly look just at you and they're
mm,
not tethered in that moment, they're not attached, it signifies a deep attachment. It signifies the influence that they have. They want to be emotionally connected to you and not to all these people that are in the ether. It also is a way for us, especially in midlife, because we are the influences in our family many times, to
mm.
reclaim presence and real time connection. So I love a good text from an old friend. I do. But last week, and you know what I'm all planning lately, playing this big event, it's like I could be having 6 or 7 conversations at one time.
Mhm.
That is enough on someone's nervous system to make you freeze. That's enough to make you want to fight, flight, and like it's enough to put all
Oh,
of that in you. So what I've had to do is I've had to institute a little bit of grounding in the middle of the day. A little
mm,
bit like a little bit of like, okay, I'm gonna put this on DND for 5 to 10 minutes because I need to come back to center. I need to come back to presence.
mm,
Um, with that being said, why don't we jump into some grounding right now? Because I think that midlife women need it as much as possible. And I
mm,
think doing some grounding, really truly breathing, breathing through stress,
mm.
whatever that stress that you're having right now on a Monday morning or whenever you're listening to this as a replay viewer, shout out to our replay viewers. We'd love for you to ground with us. Do you think we can do that right now, Morgan?
I think that sounds great. Let's do
Okay,
it.
let's do it. Let's do it.
So let's go ahead and let's just do some grounding and get into a comfortable position. Are you ready, love bug?
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's take off our shoes. Let's relax our bodies just for a couple of minutes. I'd just like you to close your eyes, stretch out your neck, put your hands behind your neck, go up your skull, release all that tension, put your head down to the side as you're pulling up on your skull, releasing all of that on your occipital ridge, all that pressure from the day, releasing all of that. Scrunch your shoulders up, release it, pulling down. Just really feel every part of your body at the moment. Take your hands, massage them on the top of your legs, rub them back and forth, feel the friction on your legs, the tingling on your hands. Really just enjoy being in this moment. Feel all your senses. Think about what you're smelling, what you're hearing, and just come to peace with where you are right now. When you're ready, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and we're going to start taking 3 deep breaths. We want to make sure that our feet are firmly planted on the ground, and we want to have this posture straight up so that or whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in, and then we're going to take 3 breaths out all the way, and then we'll go into it from there. Are you ready? Okay, so we're going to breathe in and out. And in and out. And in and out. For just a second, I want you to hold that feeling, the feeling of the air expanding inside of you as you're exhaling slowly through your mouth. Maybe even count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let it out. And then do it again. 1, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. By doing this, you're bringing awareness to your body. Notice any tension that you might have in your chest, in your shoulders, your jaw, maybe even your hands feeling tight. With each breath, I just want you to imagine releasing any tension that you feel with the rest of your body, grounding into this present moment. Imagine your phone sitting in the other room, turned off, out of sight, not being bothered by it. And then I want you to picture yourself free from the need to check, scroll, or even respond to any messages that you might see. Instead, you're right here with me. You're right here, breathing. You're whole and fully present in your body. But before we begin, I want you to ask yourself, what does peace of mind look like for me? And what small step can I take today to reclaim just a little more of it? I'd like to welcome you to open your eyes whenever you're ready and come back into this moment. And then we'll begin.
Beautiful. Thank you for leading us in that, Morgan.
You're welcome.
Ooh, y'all, I tell you every week, if you're not doing the work, you won't get the success.
Yeah.
You won't get the success. And I know that, my phone is still right here. It's not another one, but I pictured it there. I did.
It does work for you when you do.
It was helpful. It was helpful. Grounding again and centering and some of the things I know you're starting to give us some extras, with the visualization, things like that. So good. One of the things that I love to do, you welcomed us to do this last week, but putting your hand on your belly, allowing your body to be soft. It really does make a big, big difference when you are seeking to ground yourself, seeking to do that. Morgan, when we think about establishing boundaries with these devices, we all do it. We all say it. I hate my phone. I love my phone. It's like back and forth.
Mhm.
But for me, as you mentioned before, it is like my personal assistant. It's my memory. It's things that allow me to do all the things that I do for work.
Mm.
However, I don't know if anyone else has felt this, but you know, with the advent of all the new things we're able to do on our devices, and essentially that's called devices, we have to start to think about how many hours we're really spending on it. And then again, how much is that interfering with connection? At the same time, I know we had some statistics about, 78% of some women are using it every single day. And, there's 4 hours for like midlife women. And then like for our Gen Zs, it's like 6 or 7 hours, or I would say way more. But the thing is, if you work with it, like if you're an entrepreneur, as Morgan and myself are, and you're creating content, I'm a content creator. I make videos. I do a lot of writing, and I do it directly on my phone. And part of the reason why I do that is so that I can be present. I think it is a matter of thinking about how can I establish boundaries and have balance without saying I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to pretend I don't have it, because I think that might cause a little bit of anxiety.
Well, I know that when we looked it up, it said that ages 30 to 49 years of age, 74% of them say that they overuse their smartphones, whether it's with scrolling or just using it.
74%.
74%.
I wish we could get a statistic. We have to go and find. But by the time we do the description, I want to make sure we can say like what like the platforms, because
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I know for myself, because I've been working a lot more recently, that I've been scrolling a lot less. I don't have time, but
Mhm.
my hours on my phone are still
Really
super
high.
high. Yeah,
Yeah. Because then it also said from ages 50 to 64, 47% of them said the same. So everybody is still attached to it constantly and
yeah,
feeling that they have to have it within their reach a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. Erykah Badu may have had a little secret to how to do a digital detox. She was talking about, well, can you want to put your phone down? This idea of, I wonder who can actually make me do it, and who can make me put my phone down? My kids,
Like,
my husband.
mhm.
My
So
husband for sure made me put that phone down. My kids can make me put my phone down. Although most times, because they feel they have to FaceTime me as opposed to just calling me, they making me pick it up. Like, what happened to just calling someone? Like, is anyone else feeling this? Like, if you're in midlife and you find yourself having to talk on the phone like this, like, why do I would like to be able to cook while I'm talking. I don't want I
so
didn't put any makeup on you. I don't want to look at. I'm in the bathroom. Like, I
Mm.
think that some boundaries would be very nice
Well,
so
have
that
you
you
been
don't feel you have to answer every call.
all the time, but have you even noticed the difference, like, when you're sitting at a table and, like, people out to dinner, perfect example. The
Oh,
difference between the couples that there's, like, 4 people at the table and they're all like this. Now, I've done it before too. I'm guilty, but the difference between the unity
yeah, and
or
the
the
dynamic, yeah,
people that is on that's like this, not even communicating, or if it's put down, but put down and it's on the table, but it's face down.
yeah,
People think that that's okay too, but you're still subconsciously sending a
yeah.
signal to the people around you that this is
You're
more
important.
important than
Yeah,
than this, or the couples that you see and the husband's there and he's eating and the wife is reading a book, the disconnect that you feel. It can be the same just with this, reading a book on here. There's a disconnect, and that's
yeah,
what we're trying to avoid is we want like, as society, we wanna be a part of things, we wanna feel a part of things, but there's that balance.
yeah, yeah. So I know, it's interesting that some families do screen-free times.
Mm,
Definitely when my kids were young, they didn't get phones for a long time. They were begging, "Give me spreadsheets, give me, promissory notes, contracts." I mean, we did all this stuff here.
yes, love
And
this.
now that they're older, they're really, like, coming back for me, like, "You didn't even let me have a Kindle. You didn't even let me have a Fire," or whatever. I'm like, "Be quiet. You're fine. Now you have everything, and look, at least for a period of your time, you didn't have that." But I think we're not telling you to go full monk mode, like nothing. Like you're gonna, we're not telling you to go someplace and be completely, away. But I do think that even for myself, I was never a D&D person, and now I'm starting to be a little bit more of that. This
Mm,
obsession with staying connected means that we're taking in a lot of people's ideas and being influenced in ways that maybe not be healthy for us. And also, there's the electromagnetics, and also there is the cortisol being raised, and also there is the images, which we won't talk about today, that um, is oftentimes making us feel like we're not enough. And that is one of the things that in getting to after, we're not about that
mm,
life of making you feel like you're not enough right now. And I've talked about this before. If I see woman, I don't know why, maybe it's because I am a plus size woman. And when I look at clothes, I look at plus size clothes, either for myself or for my daughter. And so if I get an Ozempic ad one more time, I am not going to take a shot to lose weight so that the food stays in my stomach for the next 10 years. I'm not doing that. I'm not
mm,
taking a weight loss drug. That's
mm.
just not who I am. And I have way too many health problems to add a drug if they tell me I don't have to take one. But I get the ads every day. So, of course, what happens to the mind? Oh, man,
Consciously.
if I could look like that, that
Mhm.
happens. I'm human. Like, I'm human. And so, being able to create some boundaries.
Well, and that's also really important for our teens because first of all, they're subconscious, they just want to fit in anyways.
Yeah,
But when they're constantly having this in front of them, being shown this is what I'm supposed to look like, this is the size
yeah,
I'm supposed to be, this is what my hair is supposed to look like, this is what like they're constantly criticizing themselves. So there's in the insecurity, and it happens to us too, but specifically teenagers, they're growing in a different way. So they're already, you know, insecure.
trying to
So
find who they are. Yeah.
yeah.
I think that we could jump into some tapping,
Yeah.
to think about how do we balance. We've already done our centering, so we're kind of relaxed. The tapping that I created for today really has to do with um, how do we go back to trying to get that balance? What do we do to get that?
Mm,
How can we feel empowered, but at the same time have those boundaries and also peace of mind? And it may seem like it's heavy handed what we're talking about today, but the truth is, in the back of women's minds, they know that there's someone else that they would like to be connected with. We have those should statements, and we should all the time. We should call this one, we should do this. And a lot of times we run out of time every single day because we don't have boundaries. So, in getting to after, we're often talking about boundaries because boundaries are so powerful. Um, we have almost every week we end up talking about boundaries a little bit, right?
mm,
Because that is a huge piece of, okay, you get to acting now, can you stay there, right? And
mhm,
we're talking about finding balance, but also finding little pockets of peace within your day. Is this creating more balance? Is this creating more peace? Or is it creating more discord and disconnection?
mm.
creating some space is what we're going to do right here. So let me just go ahead and get started with a little bit of tapping. Okay. We've already breathed. We're grounded. You took a great job. You did a great job at centering us. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to start on the cry chat point. For those who may be new to tapping, one of the things that we absolutely love doing is emotional freedom technique. And the goal is to help you release toxicity. It's to help you release, stress. It's a self, I always say that wrong, self-soothing modality that you can do anytime, anywhere. It's pretty easy to learn. And today we're going to be talking about reclaiming boundaries and peace of mind, because sometimes this is stealing it away from us. So we're going to tap on certain endpoints, meridian endpoints of your body. Think of this being a way of doing acupuncture without the needles. I know that a lot of people are cheering right now because they know about the needles. I got you. I got you. Morganne and I are going to lead you through this. I'm going to be doing the tapping along with her, but she's going to be repeating after me as we do this. So you can repeat after me in your mind or out loud. You're at your house or you're at work or you're in your car. We can't hear you. Don't feel odd. Don't feel weird. This is a way to help regulate your nervous system so that you can give yourself the best chance at having a great day. We like to start this out by asking you, like, if you're kind of stressed right now, you're feeling like my boundaries aren't really working. Maybe it's this or maybe it's something else. The tapping will work whether you're talking about your cell phone or your cell phone usage, or you're being tethered to social media, or you're talking about something else. Just substitute it in where I say those words. Right now, I'd like you to think about your level of distress about this, like about not having your boundaries, about having your mind go all these places, or feeling that I must respond every time this toxic person texts me. Why don't you measure that on from a 0 to 10 scale? The 10 would be 100%. Like, the stress on that is so high for me. Maybe 1 or 2 means, well, it comes and goes, or it's just a little bit today. Think about where you are on that scale. Our goal, if possible, is to help you to reduce that a little bit. You may feel different things as we're tapping. You may feel your body may get chills. You may feel warm. You may feel nervous. You may cry. It depends on what your level of distress is. It's all welcome. It's just energy, and our goal is to release it. All right, Morgan, you ready to get started?
I absolutely am.
All right, so we're going to start on our karate chop point. Go ahead and show them that, right? So, so we're going to repeat. You can repeat after me as we say that. So, even though I feel pulled in by my phone,
Even though even though I feel pulled in by my phone,
notifications and constant distractions,
notifications and constant distractions,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I struggle to set boundaries with my phone,
Even though I struggle to set boundaries with my phone,
I choose to take back my time and my peace.
I choose to take back my time and my peace.
Even though my phone often feels like a lifeline,
Even though my phone often feels like a lifeline,
I know that true connection comes from being present.
I know that true connection comes from being present.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start tapping through the points, starting at the eyebrow point. And this is to release the stress and overwhelm. So just go ahead and start tapping there. Kind of get comfortable with it. You don't have to do it too hard. I feel like my phone controls me more than I control it.
I feel like my phone controls me more than I control it.
Side of eye, there's always another message.
There's always another message.
There's always another notification.
There's always another notification.
There's always something else to check.
There is always something else to check.
Under eye, it's exhausting, but I keep reaching for it.
It's exhausting, but I keep reaching for it.
Under nose, part of me loves it.
Part of me loves it.
Part of me feels completely drained by it.
Part of me feels completely drained by it.
Chin, sometimes I just want to unplug, but I don't know how.
Sometimes I just want to unplug, but I don't know how.
Collarbone, what if I miss something important?
What if I miss something important?
Underarm, but what if I'm just distracting myself from real life?
But what if I'm just distracting myself from real life?
Top of head, I feel overwhelmed by the pull of technology.
I feel really overwhelmed by the pull of technology.
Eyebrow point, just start tapping gently at your eyebrow point and just start thinking about what would it look like if you truly put your phone down and reconnected. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions as we tap through the points. What if I didn't need to make myself available all the time?
What if I didn't need to make myself available all the time?
Side of I. What could it mean for me to take small breaks?
What could it mean for me to take small breaks?
Could I do that without guilt?
Could I do that without guilt?
Under I. I don't have to respond instantly to everything.
I don't have to respond instantly to everything.
Under nose. I can choose how I interact with my phone and technology.
I can choose how I interact with my phone and technology.
Chin. I am allowed to set boundaries for my peace of mind.
I'm allowed to set boundaries for my peace of mind.
I will not be shamed.
I will not be shamed.
Collarbone. I give myself permission to unplug whenever I need to.
I give myself permission to unplug whenever I need to.
Underarm. It's safe for me to create that space for myself.
It's safe for me to create space like that for myself.
Top of head. I choose balance in my relationship with technology.
I choose balance in my relationship with technology.
Okay, take a deep breath. Now we're going to go into some affirmations because now that we've cleared some of that, let's go ahead and let's seal it in with an affirmation. Eyebrow point. Start tapping gently at the eyebrow point. I am in control of my time and energy.
I am in control of my time and my energy.
Side of I. I set healthy boundaries that support my well-being.
I create healthy boundaries that support my well-being.
Yes. Under I. I choose presence over distraction.
I choose presence over distraction.
Under nose. I am more than my notifications.
Wow. I am more than my notifications.
Chin. I give myself the gift of mindful living.
I give myself the gift of mindful living.
I reclaim my peace of mind one step at a time.
I reclaim my peace of mind one step at a time.
Underarm. I am free to unplug without fear.
I am free to unplug without fear.
Top of head. I choose peace.
I choose peace.
I choose balance.
I choose balance.
I choose presence.
And I choose presence.
Take one big breath in through your nose. Take your hands and put them on your belly. Let that go and then just say, I am allowed to stay away from technology when I choose.
I am allowed to stay away from technology when I choose.
I am allowed to create peace on my own terms.
I'm allowed to create peace on my own terms.
My time is valuable.
My time is valuable.
And I will honor it with intention.
And I will honor it with intention.
Thank you, Morgan. How'd that feel? How'd that feel?
My belly is so happy right now. That felt so good. Like the tension release in my jaw,
Yeah.
and then my stomach. That was beautiful. Thank
It's
you.
so interesting because you're not a person that's attached to your phone like that, but you used to have to be as
Mhm.
part of, your life previously. And so it's so much work that you've done, so much healing, and
Mhm.
yet there's still, it's going to be little pockets of it in there. But how beautiful that you get to have this release now.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like I just think that's to me the best part, that you now get to have a release from this in a way that other parts of it, because you're still tearing up and you're not upset over this. This was your topic.
Well, it just means a lot to be able to be in a safe place where I don't have to worry about being tethered to it constantly,
Yeah.
having that leash and having it on my own terms now. So safety looks so different now, and it's beautiful.
Well, I put up our link. If you're interested in learning more about tapping, if you'd like to work with Morgan or me, you can go to our link at bit.ly/tap-chat. Now, I will tell you, even though I've said this a couple times before, I've told you that the magazine was coming. The magazine is coming. It will be out this week. And It's good. It's so good. It's so good. But if you haven't had our first one, I'm going to go ahead and put the link up. This will at least get you into our mail list. bit.ly/G2A mag launch. That's going to take you to our first magazine that we did back in October. Our second e-zine is coming out this very week. I'm going to put myself out there and say it's definitely coming out this week. And I'm so, so excited about it because not only is it going to really bring you more about boundary setting and safety um, and how to tap, why to tap. We're going to be talking about goals. We're going to be talking about ways of communicating with yourself. We're incorporating some breathing and some tapping. And also Morganne revealed, and I know you wrote this some time ago, a personal story about her life and how how she was able to overcome the triggers this particular season that have been very tough. I'm so excited about this issue. It's almost double the size of our first issue, which is part of the reason why it's taken a long time. Girlfriend's been doing a lot of writing, okay? So it's a mini book, and I'm super proud of it. So I can't wait to get it to you guys.
I can't wait either.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listen. You can put your phone down. Erykah Badu told you could. If you need to put it down a little bit this week, go ahead. But wait until after you like, subscribe, and share. Okay? Wait. Just like wait till we end and then, okay? Hit the link, and let us know what you loved about this episode. Comment down below, and we'll see you next week. All right? Take care, guys. Mwah.